Hey guys, what's up? Welcome again to learning about if I can get into the game industry or not. It's really funny. I was actually supposed to have an interview a few minutes ago, but it got rescheduled at the last minute, and that happens a lot. Life happens, and that's one of the things that everyone has to understand when you are going for these positions. There's a lot of other people going for them and a lot of other things that are happening and going on. So, anywho, cool news is I do have a couple interviews lined up. So far, I have an interview lined up for Rec Room Games. So, these guys right here. I'm sure you guys have heard of Rec Room. If you haven't, it's really, really cool. You don't need a VR headset. That's kind of really, kind of the forefront of it, but it's really cool. It's virtual reality online video game, creation system. I was watching a few videos of it earlier. I haven't played it myself, but I'm going to download it on the PS5 just to kind of get a feel for it. I think that's the right thing to do. I don't think you should ever go into any interview not knowing what you're talking about, right? The other interview I have is with People Can Fly. These guys, of course, are, they're kind of really popular, I would think. They used to be parent company of Epic Games, Epic Games was their parent company. If you don't know what games they've made, it's pretty simple. Outriders is a big one, right? And then, of course, I think my favorite People Can Fly game was Bulletstorm, right here. They also worked on Gears of War Judgment as well. So, you always go in to look at the history of the studios, games developed, and things like that. Painkiller, I remember that one. They ported the Gears of War to Windows, so very port-friendly company at first, and then of course, what have they been working on since then? So, looks like they helped develop the Save the World aspect for Fortnite, which Fortnite is extremely popular. So, that would be an awesome company to work for. Outriders is a great game, right? So, I think that's pretty cool. I've got those two interviews lined up. They're both for recruiting. And recruitment. The People Can Fly, actually, they're the ones that messaged me saying they want to talk to me about a position that may, work out for me. So I don't know if it's recruiting. I'm not sure what it's for. We still have to schedule a specific time to actually talk, but it's nice to know that we're sharing things back and forth, right? So I think that's what's really important. So we talked a little bit last time about setting up your LinkedIn and things like that, about how you can kind of better approach that situation. What I really want to talk about right now is what different jobs are in the gaming industry. Because when you think of video games, a lot of you may think developers, coders, when it comes down to, like a designer, artist, things like that. But there's so much more when it comes down to it. So I talked about Hitmarker yesterday. I really do think they have a tremendous program here lined up for everybody to learn from. And I really want to highlight that for you guys today. So one thing that we can look at is a complete list of gaming jobs, right? So you don't know where to start, right? And that's what is really, really cool. So they're actually going to show you different gaming professions and different actual programs and different areas of expertise. So obviously you have game programming, right? And you've got game design, game production. These are probably the ones that really stand out. There's art, animation, audio. These ones are standouts, right? Quality assurance, though. QA team. You probably know about that if you've ever played a Bethesda game. You know that maybe they could have used a little bit more quality assurance. Shout out to the delay of Starfield and Redfall, by the way. Hopefully we get a few less Bethesda glitches, right? Management, right here. creative director, department, operations, program, people. I'd throw that in there. Marketing, content, right? So when you think of content, what are you thinking of? You got to think about the people that are making the trailers for the games, right? Cinematography, that's big. I think of a game like God of War, right? The 2018 version. When that came out, the way the cinematography was for that game was just absolutely amazing. So you got to think a lot goes into how games are perceived and shot. If you've seen that Unreal demo with the subway, think of the cinematography of that. Think of how that was able to capture spookiness, creepiness, and things like that. IT, DevOps, right? So DevOps is a kind of form of off-brand of project management in a way. Networking. So we're not talking about, hey, it's nice to know you. Hey, you know me. Not necessarily from that standpoint. Data. You've always got to know your data. You've always got to know what you're up against. Not just like competition wise, but just like, is everything that we're doing reaching who we need it to reach to? And that goes back to the marketing team and content, and like everything kind of rolls together. Research. What research are we doing? Commercial, finance, duh, right? People don't make these for free, and that's something that people don't realize sometimes. Everybody gets mad when you see a game that goes exclusive or a studio that gets bought. But at the end of the day, these companies do what they want to do and they love what they're doing, but at the end of the day, you have to make money. If you're not making money, you can't do this. You can't have this. And I think we have to separate our fandom from business logical thinking. Sometimes it may seem very anti-consumer on the decision that gets made, but at the same time, it's one of those things where everybody's got to eat. And if we're not eating, we can't make what you want, right? Legal team, got to make sure everything's good. Licensing's big in that one, right? Merger acquisition, well, that's big right now. We know that. Human resources, huge. This is typically where I kind of go into with kind of what my background entails. But what's funny is a lot of stuff that I've done, it can go into human resources, marketing. I have a little IT experience. I can do data, education, and then customer service, administrative, and even management. All those are different things that I know my background speaks to, right? Education, program development, and teaching. So what do you think, you're at your job right now, and there's probably, e-learnings, you-learns that you're doing right now. Education's the same way. You have to develop those programs to teach and train your new associates. How are you going to do that? So education's huge. Media, editor, journalist, photographer, videographer. This is something that a lot of people love, but it does not get enough credit, and it doesn't make a lot of money. From what I'm seeing, your top end ones, yeah, they do. But man, oh man, this one is kind of like, when I think of media for gaming, obviously you're going to think of IGN, GameSpot. But right now, Twitter is winning that war, I think, when it comes to media coverage. There's amazing people that I follow who are, have good inside knowledge that report things that, don't have a huge, content, massive content out there, but they're good at reporting what they do. Customer service, that's pretty self-explanatory, right? I know that some of you may think, wow, I've never had to call that number for customer service, but at the same time, think of it like this. Like, I just bought a game, and just recently I just bought a game on PlayStation, Just Dance 2022 for the PS5. Did not know the PS4 camera wasn't going to work for that. PS4 camera is backwards compatible, right? But the PS4 camera doesn't work for that particular game. Neither does the PS5 camera. You can only control that game with an app. So I was like, wow, I can't play this game because that app's terrible, first off. And secondly, I was like, my kids, can't play this game either. Like, we were expecting to kind of dance and hop around. So I contacted Sony, told them the situation, and they said, sure, not a problem. So they refunded me my money. I bought the other version of Just Dance for PS4. That was backwards compatible with the PS5. Customer support was right then and there. So it was nice to have that. Administrative. So administrative support, I mean, that's your top brass right there, right? But these are the guys that have to make sure every one of these guys is okay. Competition. You're talking about like game competitions and things like that. You got, more and more you're seeing coaches these days, right here, being front and center. Broadcast. Huge right now. Esports is huge. It is taking over everything. And if you don't think it is, you're lying to yourself. Because look how many jobs are out based upon esports. And look how many companies are looking for esports. How many times do you see PlayStation tweet about a new tournament they're having? How many of these other positions that I'm going to show you do you see have anything to do with esports? It's huge. Events, talent. How cool would it be to be somebody who's in charge of setting up the event, right? That would be so cool. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, really. So they kind of break it down for you a little bit on kind of what each job does, rather than just that one page. And that's kind of what you see. Kind of what we talked about. But you gotta think, there's just so much, right? So how do you get a job in these guys in 2022, right? And that's what I like Hitmarker for, is they really provide you some valuable tips. We're going to go over some of them real quick. So one of the things they really say, and this goes back to what we talked about a little bit last time, is networking. So participate in game jams. Game jams bring a large group of people, like-minded individuals to one place with the goal of creating a game from scratch in a short amount of time, usually somewhere between 24 and 72 hours. This is really good if you are considering yourself like somebody who's working on your stuff at home, right? Or you have a small team and you just kind of want to, kind of go from there. Network at events. And yeah, we know this guy has kind of impact on a lot of those events. Some of them are back up and running. Not as many as we would like. And not to mention, they're not always as easy to get to. I know with where I'm at, there's a lot of Comic-Cons, but is there anything specifically focused on gaming that I can meet somebody in that industry? And that's where, you kind of have to dive deep more into that. There are network events, though. And they're even say, hey, join our Discord, And look right here. Set up a LinkedIn profile. Ensure you maintain your portfolio. Yep. Modern education. Learn what skills is going on. That's really important. So the biggest thing is that I'm talking about project management, right? So knowledge of project management systems and the product life cycle of a game is huge. That helps everybody involved. That helps everybody. Knowing those particular programs and knowing how the project life cycle is and how a product life cycle is really imperative. And it's going to help you no matter what. I think that knowledge is very integral. Okay? And, I'm not going to talk about project management here. I'm not I'm an expert, but I'm not an expert for teaching it, I don't think. So, and then one of the I wouldn't say easier jobs, but one of the more entry-level jobs is QA games testing. I see a lot of people who move up from there to just go on full-on development team. Because you still got to know the process of making a game, right? Internships are definitely there. I mean, they usually run them a lot during the summertime, and it's always an opportunity for you. Pardon my mess up there. So let's say we're going to find a job, right? So that's one of the important things. Obviously, when a company is hiring, typically they hire in batches, right? Because you're always looking for qualified candidates. So like Ubisoft right here is looking for, 3 different types of people right here. CD Projekt Red is looking for 2 people right here. Recruitment assistant right here. So, and then Hitmarker does a really good job of telling you, well, here's where the person really can be. They're looking for in Warsaw, right? Which obviously isn't here. This is strictly San Francisco for a CRM manager. What's a CRM manager? What do you guys think it is? What do you think? Take a guess. Currently seeking a CRM manager. This individual has experience in key aspects of CRM as data-driven. They report to the senior manager, CRM, right? So what do you think CRM is? So let's do this. CRM manager. What does a CRM manager? What does CRM stand for? Customer relationship management, right? So this is where I kind of want to point this out. Many different jobs have many different names, right? So a customer relations manager is a CRM manager. You can kind of maybe prioritize that based upon the qualifications, based upon what you do. But at the end of the day, you are the customer relations manager. You're making sure that the creation process, the audience, and everything like that, like you want to make sure. And here's let's go back a minute, right? We talk about project management skills, right? Right here, stakeholders. Coordinate regularly with internal stakeholders and work daily with counterparts and other offices to execution of work and tasks. Stakeholders is driven into your brain when you're a project manager because that is your light bulb. That's who you work for. That's who you're doing the job for, right? So KPIs, it's things like that. You don't know what KPI is? Look it up yourself. You'd be surprised. You know more of this probably than you actually think that you don't think that you do, right? So, but we talk about how jobs have a different name, right? So if I were to tell you that I wanted to be a project manager, right? Project manager. What am I actually doing, right? And there's many different aspects that you can do. What's a project manager do? A simple, broadest sense, plan, organize, direct, and completion of specific projects from organization while ensuring these projects are on budget, and of course within scope. But what does a program manager do? So a program manager, and I love this, both program managers and project managers oversee projects and facilitate and communicate between team members and key stakeholders, but a project manager will focus on the details of individual project, whereas a program manager will oversee how multiple projects align with company goals. So think of like a program manager like the next step above a project manager. In some companies this is not always the case. Some companies just treat project managers and program managers the same way. But it's amazing how program manager, can also change into program engineer, right? So program engineering is also it kind of gets tied down to it too. They identify what the software needs to do. They create the programming to make it happen. But in many respects, it's exactly what a software engineer does. However, software engineers not only write the code, they also create everything using a big picture approach. So program managing engineer can almost go hand in hand with that. And it all depends on kind of what they want to use for their verbiage. Because it's like, what is it? Job, project manager, jobs, right? And this is going to bring up the Google stuff. But there's also technical project managers. Actually, a good one to look up is through LinkedIn. So when I type in project manager, right here, go to jobs, and let's just do a project manager, right? So if I'm looking at project manager, and I'm not looking up games at the moment, project manager, residential project manager, agile project manager, construction project manager, account project manager, project manager, information technology project manager, human resources project manager. There's agile project manager, project manager, project manager, project manager. But I want to show you that some things get named differently as well. So talent acquisition project manager, HR project, and office coordinator. So project coordinator is also something that gets levied into project manager as well. And what's funny though is, let's go back to some of the first ones, right? So let's just click on punch through, right? So what are they going to ask for? So they're going to ask 2+ years experience in project management, technical project leadership, right? And you're going to be asked to, have these particular set of skills right here. All right. And that's cool. But how many people are applying? So 5 hours ago, mind you, this is based in Minneapolis. It's probably hybrid because you may have to go in the office a couple times. 9 applicants. Not bad, right? But let's change to what a lot of people are looking for to how many people are applying. So let's do competitively. So that one was open. Let's do date posted. So that one was open, 5 or 6 hours ago, right? So let's check out one that was opened up 2 hours ago. Actually, let's do 1 hour ago. Tampa, Florida, right? 1 hour ago, easy apply. Hey, only 1 applicant. Wow. But are they asking for something in particular? So, experience 10+ years in project management and delivery, right? So that maybe is scaring some people off. Human resources project manager, 22 applicants, right? So this one is a remote work from home, 12 months type deal. And then I like this one, marketing project manager, 96 applicants from Meta. And here's what's cool about Meta is if you were interested in them, you can actually take a course through Coursera, through Meta right now, on marketing. And you can also take Google's project management course and kind of go from there. And, 32 applicants for this. So it's not easy, right? And these are basic ones, right? So let's look at project manager video games. I don't know if anything will technically pop up for the past 24 hours. So let's do past week. 19 results, looking for remote, right? So localization project manager, 31 applicants, right? QA project manager, game testing, this is remote as well, 7 applicants, right? So this is might be an area, but remember, Milwaukee remote, that doesn't mean you can be fully remote. That means you have to be in the area. If I'm not mistaken, you have to do fully, because that's why they keep saying the name. Program strategy and delivery manager, very similar to a project manager, 50 applicants. Are you going to be able to beat them? Right? So let's look at video games in general. How many people are applying for studios? Video games, right? So let's talk about a popular company, right? A company that you think you've got your way into, right? So let's just do anytime. 2K results. Haha, funny, right? So obviously it's probably going to bring up the stuff that I'm looking at first. So kind of swings back into there. I'm not doing localization. I don't know other languages. I'm not going to pretend to. So let's look at, I like looking at this, right? So lead technical artist is only 8 applicants right here for this particular role. However, lead technical artist, 8 applicants for LinkedIn. How many people applied off Hitmarker? How many people applied off Google? How many people applied off Indeed? All of a sudden, you start hitting those higher numbers and you start having to really kind of differentiate yourself, right? Look, product marketing manager, mobile gaming, right? You got to know product management. You got to know marketing management. And they're going to ask what you know, what you can bring to the table. So a lot of these are scary, right? Sometimes you look at it and go, oh, I can't be qualified for that, well, that's why you got to know where to start. So, like, look at this, for example. This is a programmer. Proficiency in C++ and other programming languages such as Java. Minimum 3 years. Experience in game development using Unreal Engine. Minimum 3 years. So, you've already got 25 people that applied for that. Now, are all of them qualified? Absolutely not. Right? Somebody could go, oh, I've been toying around with Unreal Engine, for free for a while, and it's kind of going from there. So, yeah, doesn't always work out that way, right? Look at this, 72 applicants. I love, because like, what I think I shared it with you guys the other day is I applied for a PlayStation role, and there was like 197 applicants in that particular role. So there's a lot of different avenues that you can go to, right, when it comes down to learning about maybe what your background entails. What can you transfer from what you do right now to gaming? And that's where, it kind of goes down to, what do you want to do? Are you somebody that draws in your free time? Do you think maybe you can go into that mindset? Do you think maybe you can do that? I mean, that's where it gets a little, all right, gotta figure it out. And that's okay. Are you somebody that wants to be, are you into Twitch? Are you into are you into more or less the media style of things? There's always something for you to do. And I think that's what's really cool. And what I didn't really realize at first was how interconnected they all are, right? So go back to Hitmarker. I prefer Hitmarker to use to looking up video games because that's all they look up. They literally look it up all for you. Discord, compensation analyst and senior benefits manager, right? Game security, project manager, director, creator strategy, senior sales executive, senior manager of UX design for monetization from PlayStation. Guerrilla Games looking for a QA manager in Amsterdam. QA testers for Sports Interactive in London. Let's look at remote positions, right? So look at this. Senior product manager of cloud gaming. So we're looking for remote, right? Anywhere. That takes it down to around 1,000 jobs currently open right now. Senior sales executive and remote in Spain. Director of creative product marketing. Senior technical program manager. Twitch. So if you got project management experience, boom, there you go. Senior apparel and graphic designer. Senior VFX artist for Harry Potter. For Zynga. Senior entertainment. Senior software engineer. Release and live operations. That's that game company. That's pretty cool. Head of game art direction. So you kind of see where they're always looking for positions. The biggest thing is whether or not you can make yourself stand out. And that's really where, it gets a little bit difficult. I'd almost jumped on this one earlier. Senior technical recruiter for Unity, but that's in Canada. So yeah, we're not gonna apply for that. But yeah, I really think that, utilize the tools that you have online to kind of really teach you. And we'll get into networking in a different time, but understand where you can take what you have and mold that into something in this particular field. Like I said, it doesn't have to be video games. If you want to get into technology of any type, you can do it. You just have to kind of word what you do around and facilitate that. Does that make sense? At least that's what I'm doing. No guarantees it was going to work, right? But I'm getting interviews. So somebody somewhere sometime is going to go, all right, we're going to take a chance on that guy, right? And that's something that, that will motivate you. You're not going to get yes on your first try. If you do, awesome. Just awesome for you, right? But don't forget that it takes multiple times for you to find your yes. And sometimes it's a good thing. Just getting the experience of the interview. And sometimes those interviews are weird. Sometimes the first interview is, tell us about yourself. Well, I already gave you a resume. But remember, they're looking for keywords when they're talking to you. They're looking for keywords that you're going to stay. You're going to state for them. So yeah, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. This is a fun little thing to talk about. And I hope you guys have a awesome day. Thank you. Bye.